1.8 guidelines. Always begin your live view templates with layouts. Right, the layouts change. Right, it's now a component which wraps. This is hard to read. Which wraps all inner content. Right, so makes sense to want to do that. The module is alias, so you can use it without aliasing it again. That makes sense. The robot probably tries to alias it. Anytime you run into errors with no current scope assigned, this is interesting. So the robot fails to authenticate, follow the authenticated routes guidelines, pass current scope to layout. And let's see, always fix this error by moving the route to the proper live session. So that's interesting. Seems like the robot keeps putting probably a live view outside of the live session, doesn't have the current scope, fails. So it's kind of like a common fix. Let's see, Phoenix 1.8, move the Flash group component to the layouts module. You are forbidden. You are forbidden from calling Flash group outside of the layouts module. Nice. All right. Seems like that's a common issue. Out of the box, core components imports an icon, yada, yada, yada. Always use the icon for icons. Never use heroicons. So this makes sense. I think there's a library, and this is like, I don't know, Phoenix 1.5 maybe. I can't remember exactly when. I think we used to call this module. So that's what they're trying to avoid doing or telling the robot not to do. Always use the imported input component. Input is still using, okay. Yeah, it seems like maybe they use a vanilla inputs and then there's errors and stuff. Let's see, if you override the default input class with your own values, no default classes are inherited, so your custom classes must fully use this input. That's interesting, that makes sense. It probably thinks it's overriding and it'll like inherit those classes, but if you know how Phoenix components work, they are just adding classes, right? Typically, if you pass it in a list. So interesting thing there.